Bitcoin has continued to push higher in this market. We actually managed to swing right above my resistance area here at 21,700. That is the prior high that we set, and we did manage to breach that, but only by about $150, and we're now seeing a little bit of a return lower. This is actually pretty interesting because at the same time, altcoins really actually took a bit of a lift off. Let me show you Binance coin right here, up to 245. Obviously not one of the most impressive ones, but it is one of the ones I was watching. Solana didn't quite manage to follow through, but on the whole, we did see, coins like Ethereum still peaking just a little bit higher. Ethereum right here reaching that 1300 level, nearly getting quite close to its prior all-time high, which was here at 1400. But we can't seem to break higher. If we take a look at what's been going on with Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin shows us this most clearly. We have a situation in this market here where at first we were rallying up pretty strong, but this second move up is quite considerably more, laid back, and potentially indicative of the market, running out of steam. We've got volume just basically non-existent. If you look at this orange moving average, this traces where the volume actually is on average, and you can see that decline as we're approaching resistance levels, ladies and gents. That's not a good sign. Generally you want to see a little bit more volume building up, a little bit more tension in the market as we approach resistance levels. But what seems to be happening here is that as we're approaching the resistance level, people are actually taking their hands off the market, not really wanting to get burned, not really wanting to get screwed, basically. And that could potentially be something which is slightly worrying. Now, granted, all things considered, I'm not actually too worried about it. I think that Bitcoin is in a position where it should be able to rise beyond these resistance levels. This is now the second test of the resistance level we've had. And so far, yes, we did get a bit of a rejection, but it's really not that bad. If we measure this from high to our current price, we're only down by 2.6% or $600. It's really just not that big of a deal, in my opinion. However, if we do end up falling down, the floor that I'm going to be watching is still this very, very low $20,000 range. And ladies and gents, I want to make this very, very clear, even though I already have done so. For those of you who are smashing that like button and staying subscribed to this YouTube channel, that you've already been watching my videos, you're going to know this very, very well, that this floor is critical, in my opinion. We've already plunged below it once, which was very, very bad. However, if we drop below it again, that to me would be a very, very clear sign that the market is just too weak, and that this bear trend could be ready to continue, especially because below $20,000 there is no substantial support that I'm seeing on this chart until we fall down to the $11,000 to $14,000, that 3K gap, that kind of range. I'm not seeing anything at all, no support whatsoever until we get down there, if we end up losing 20K. So that is still the absolute most important level on this chart, in my opinion. But one of the things we're doing right now, just because we have been kind of slowly pushing higher, is really starting to flip some of these time frames around, right? We had this beautiful little 1 hour Ichimoku cloud here, which ended up supporting the market twice. We could make use of it again right now as we're potentially dipping just a little bit lower, but we're also going to be seeing momentum. If you take a look at momentum right here on the 4 hour time frame, we're now starting to flip some of these moving average lines bullish. We're getting these crossovers where the yellow line, which is the shortest term line, is starting to cross above the more orange and red lines, and so that is a sign that actually momentum is flipping, and we're potentially getting ready to capture a little bit of bullish momentum, which is obviously quite useful for the trend right now. This, in all honesty, is going to just flatten out, though. This isn't actually going to get all the crossovers that we're wanting, because the market isn't continuing pushing higher. So if the market does continue to push higher, this is definitely going to be a great area of support that I can totally see Bitcoin making good use of. For now, it's just developing, but that is something to keep an eye on, right? This is one of the things I was warning about if you were watching this YouTube channel a few days ago. Basically, like right after this pump happened, I said, look, a lot of these time frames are going to potentially start flipping and starting to look a little bit more bullish, where we could expect a bit more support. And obviously, things like the Ichimoku cloud are going to be a little bit slower, and you can see that we have now just hit this resistance level with the 4 hour Ichimoku cloud. The 4 hour Ichimoku cloud is not something to fuck with, in my opinion, ladies and gents. This is quite a dangerous resistance zone. If we take a look at how we've interacted with it, just going back to roughly the middle of April, it is consistent consistent rejections. You know, in this situation here, let me just count the amount of times it failed versus the amount of times it was used as resistance. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tests of the 𝗪𝗓𝗔𝗡𝗦 cloud since it turned red over here. 8 tests, and it was only the very last one that failed. So yeah, this cloud causes problems for Bitcoin, and right now it's very thick. This is a very thick cloud. If you don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, you need to pause the video right now and go watch this free tutorial on how to get this indicator and how to use it. This is a tutorial that should not be free. It actually isn't free. It's part of my paid academy course, but you can get a taste of that by punching this into the YouTube search bar and then watching my my video that I made just for you on it. So just go type this in, letter for letter, and you'll be able to watch this and then come right back. This is a thick cloud, and it is something that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Now, the thing is to me, you know, if I rank my indicators in terms of what is most, what I consider to be most important, you know, the top is definitely going to be just simply horizontal support resistance levels, and so that's basically this green line here. And what that analysis is telling me, if I hide this cloud, is very simply that if we manage to break this green line, you know, it should be a pretty easy rise up to the next, you know, in this case, this is basically the 22 to high 22 to very low 24K range, basically. You know, this is the next potential area that I might be able to expect the market to capture a bit of resistance. And the reason I'm saying that is if we take the chart back to where it's just not loading up, is it? I can't load it back far enough. Oh yeah, I can. Here we go. This is the prior consolidation that the market was able to enjoy between $22,000 to $24,000. So it was right between this box. So if we trace this box back to where we are currently, it definitely makes sense that this could, got to go a long way here, definitely makes sense that this could turn into a temporary zone of resistance. It was not support on the way down. Well, not really. We did get a bounce, but it's you know, you got to be very generous if you're calling that support. You know, it could still be a resistance though, and that's something that I am keeping an eye on. It is just, you know, seeing how Bitcoin is potentially slowing down here that is somewhat concerning, but again, as long as we don't start losing these key levels, I am totally okay with it. The thing is yeah, I'm still seeing that, you know, the big resistance levels haven't been back tested yet. On Binance Coin, for example, it's very obvious where this level is. If we take a look at this on the daily time frame, we can get a good idea of the $260 level potentially being quite important for this chart. Just take a look at all of the consolidations, the reversals, the little bounces here that we've had off the $260 level. So to me, that makes total sense that we end up hitting it next. Right now, the way I've drawn this, which is, I can't see a better way to draw it just within this little gap right here. You know, we had resistance at about, yeah, $230. This is, I mean, I could probably even stretch this line. This is more local resistance. This is new resistance. Really, I mean, it's just the yellow box, to be honest, that represents where our support is currently. Obviously, it was resistance, but now we've managed to climb above it. You know, there's basically nothing that goes on between. I want to change the size of this box. I think this needs to be moved down here. That's a little bit more appropriate. You know, there's basically nothing going on between these two levels, right? So I would expect Binance Coin to be able to rise up into there. But granted, it's not actually, you know, potentially the most significant level. So, you know, this green box potentially also being a resistance zone, which begins at $290. This is where the market has seen quite a few very important price reversals and consolidations. So, you know, altcoin market, this is a good example, just generally not quite at the highs that I think they could reach yet. Solana is a phenomenal example of that. it's been doing very, very well, but obviously it's now broken into this resistance range. I think it's fair to say that it should be able to rise to the top of this range. I mean, if we're in the range, then why not go to the top, right? So this is the next kind of area that I think could be a problem zone for Solana, and if we do manage to pass that, it's going to be the $58 level. But honestly, I think if we start rising above this $48 level, even though there is resistance right here, I would not be surprised if we ended up making our way all the way up to that very low $80 mark, to capture a little bit of resistance next up over here, because obviously there was a lot of support that the market enjoyed off this level during the downtrend. So if we do get this reaction rally moving that high, well then yes, I would be expecting that this does end up dropping a little bit lower from those kind of areas. So I'm still seeing potentially more upside there as well, just in the short term. Obviously long term, I shouldn't have to say this because my stance is already quite clear. We're not in a good position, both from the micro and the macro. I'm sorry, more from the macro, well, I should say both from the fundamental and the technical views. I actually made a video just about this yesterday, so just go back and watch it if you missed it. I made 2 videos yesterday, so if you only watched one of them, make sure you check out the other one. I think it was the one that I posted later on yesterday, where I said this is the first time something happened. That's the one, which is very macro focused. It's quite economy focused. It's not really like my normal videos. Very, very important video though, so please go back and watch that if you have missed it for some reason, and then just double check that you're subscribed as well, just in case you did miss it, because that could be the reason why you're missing out on some of this very, very important content. Guys, I just want to take this chance as well to remind you that Bybit is running a huge campaign. This is time-based, so it's not going to be available for too much longer, where you can sign up to Bybit, enjoy potentially winning something out of this $8 million prize pool by trading on Bybit. And if I can get this pop-up to fuck off, for some reason my reception is horrible right now. You also, with my link in the description, when you sign up using that link, can get up to $4,100. So basically just over $4,000 up for grabs there. This is a prize pool. This is based on your trading ability, so obviously this is going to be quite hard to win, but the $4,100, that's free. That's anyone can get it. All you got to do is sign up using my link in the description down below, and you'll see how to get your 4K as well. So that is absolutely phenomenal. If you also want to jump inside a VIP, see how I've been trading these ranges and gain full access to what's going on behind those scenes, then behind the scenes here, then check it out by following these steps on screen. Just want to remind you guys again that we are running a discount on this, but we're going to be ending it relatively soon. So if you want to take advantage of that, this is also time sensitive. Moving back to the chart though, very, very swiftly. This is quite an obvious daily rising wedge. It's quite a steep one, actually, to be honest. I mean, they usually do play out a little bit slower than this. But from low to current price, we're now up by 20%, and up to our high, which we set only, well, just very recently, really, over the last couple of hours, we've managed to rise up by 24%. So, we have, passed the 14% mark. A lot of our rallies were only 14%. That's good, and I think that there's still a good amount of potential that we could continue to rise higher. Like I said, I was a little bit concerned that this market could be getting ready to, could be running out of steam. The 4-hour Ichimoku cloud has a big statement to say about that, but obviously, I think what's important to consider here is just that we are in a situation where, I am going to be prioritizing my basic support resistance lines more than an indicator. I just generally find that this extremely simple, straightforward bit of form of analysis is generally superior to using any indicator. So that's just my experience. Obviously your mileage may vary. That's not going to apply to everybody, but it does apply to me. So that's what I'm thinking of right there. And there you go. That's pretty much it. I'm looking to see altcoins rise a little bit more. They did start peaking, like I said, so that's cool. Again, Ethereum also swinging just a little bit above its prior swing high during this little downtrend recently. So that's pretty nice. It's actually basically broken all of the key levels since we fell into this range. So that's pretty cool. Did it break them? It just reached them. I wouldn't call that breaking them. But you know, it's in a decent place right now. I think Ethereum's level is it's going to be this 1180 area. As long as Ethereum is able to hold above this, we're good. Obviously, that level for Bitcoin is roughly 20,100. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Hope you've enjoyed this video. You know what to do. If you want that free $4,100, sign up to Bybit using my link in the description down below. Obviously, depending on where in the world you are, you might need a VPN, but I can't endorse that. And if you want to join VIP, gain access to the behind the scenes of what I'm trading, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and so on, with a discount, then follow these steps on screen before that discount is removed. Thank you all very much for watching. You know what to do. Likes, subscribe, tick the bell, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.